over here, and there was a famine, 3-year famine. And David was very nervous to find out the reason. He found out the reason. Urim Tovim told him it's because of the suffering of the Givonim. So he went to go meet with them to go find out what's the story, what happened. So he goes and speaks to them, and he says, "V'ikra melech Givonim, v'yomer lehem Givonim lo mibnei Yisrael hema." The king called the Givonim, spoke to them. Givonim were not part from the children of Israel, but they were rather from the nation of Amori. And the children of Israel swore not to hurt them. But Shaul had tried to strike them down in his zeal for the children of Israel and Yehuda.
They converted, right?
Yeah, they converted, but Yoshua didn't accept them. It was fake. They tricked us. So David said to the Givonim, what can I do for you? How can I atone for the sin that Shaul made you guys suffer? Now Am Yisrael's 3-year famine because of you guys. What can I do to call it even? So he says, they said to him, he says, listen, we have no claim of silver or gold against Shaul. We have no innocent man in Israel to put to death. So the King David said, whatever you say, I will do for you. So they sound like they're peaceful, right? We don't want money. We don't need you to kill anybody. And then what do they say? And they said, he says, though we only want the man who annihilated us, who schemed against us. Let 7 men of his sons be given to us. We will hang them for the sake of Hashem. So he says, I want the 7 sons of Shaul HaMelech. We want to hang them like Asarat Bnei Aman. We want to hang them, and then we'll call it even. Right? So then, what did the King David say? Vayomer Melech Ani iten. I will give. I'll give him to you. So we gotta see what kind of deal this is. So our pasuk says that Shaul killed the Givonim. So some say in the Midrash, some say when he killed the city of Nov, the Kohanim, he killed the Givonim too. But we said last time, other opinion says that no, he killed the Givonim, he killed the city of Nov. The Kohanim were the ones who supported the Givonim. Now there's no one to support them, so they were in a famine. They had nothing to eat. So therefore that's why now the Jewish people had the famine. Okay, who actually carried out the massacre? We know it's not Shaul's servants. We know it was really Doeg. Doeg Edomi also killed some of the Kohanim, and therefore they call the Shaul's house the house of blood. And now comes out that now his sons are on death row with the Givonim because they want revenge. So now the Yushalmi, though, the Gemara Yushalmi says that the Givonim said that Shaul was responsible for killing 7 of their men. Really, they have a claim that why 7 sons, because they have a claim that Shaul killed actually 7 our people. And David said, listen, what's the point? David argued with them. The Gemara Yishalmi says, what's the point of killing them? Well, what are you going to gain from this? What does it help you? It benefits nothing from you. It would be better if maybe we give you gold and silver. You were hungry before. Now let's give you a financial plan to support you. And the Givonim said, no, Shaul didn't take any money from us. He took people from us, so we want people back. So David thought that maybe they thought it was inappropriate to ask for gold and silver. But now he sees that they're cruel. So, and one of the signs, the Rambam says, that the sign of a Jew is that he forgives, right? And the Givonim, from here, the Rambam learns from the fact that Givonim don't forgive and they want blood, that's a sign that they weren't real Jews. Because there it says the Rambam, a real Jew, he's not cruel, he forgives. But a sign of a goy is he can't find mercy in himself, and he wants to see other people suffer. Only then he calms down. So therefore, it's a direct lesson from here, from the Givonim, that they were being cruel, not forgiving. So therefore, we learn from here what the opposite. The opposite is the character trait of a Jew, and therefore, because of this, the Midrash says David decided that they're not going to be part of Am Yisrael. He says, yeah, you see, it's in their nature not to be like us, so therefore we're not going to accept them. They're going to stay outside of Am Yisrael. But really, because they're from the nation of Amori, so they weren't real converts. If they would have been converts, then their neshama would have changed, and they would have had mercy inside of themselves. And the fact that they didn't, so it's not for us. It's not for us. Okay, fine. So now, what does the pasuk say? So the king had mercy on Mephibosheth. So who's going to give him? Which sons of Shaul is he going to give him? So he had Ve'echmol Melech al Mephibosheth ben Yonatan ben Shaul. He had mercy on Mephibosheth, son of Yehonatan, son of Shaul, because he made a promise to him, he made an oath to him, so he designates somebody else. What does he designate? Ve'ikach Melech Shnei bnei Ritzpah bat Aya she'yalda leShaul Armoni Mephibosheth ve'Hameshet bnei Michal bat Shaul she'yalda leAdriel ben Barzilai mecholati. So he takes 2 sons of Ritzpah. That's a daughter of Aya who gave birth to Shaul's kids, Armoni and Mephibosheth. There was another Mephibosheth. And then the 5 sons of Michal, daughter of Shaul, who she bore to Adriel, son of Barzilai, Mecholati. So these are grandchildren of Shaul. He gives over grandchildren of Shaul. He delivered them to the hand of Givonim. They hanged them on the mountain before Hashem. All 7 of them fell together. So they did it out of revenge. But it's interesting over here because we're going to see that they didn't want to take him down. They wanted to leave the bodies like that. Now they're going to have an argument about if they're going to take him down or not. Okay, fine. So says the pasuk, "Vehema hamtu be'yemei katzir." They were put to death in the first day of the harvest, the beginning of the barley harvest. Good weather that time. Ritzpah, daughter of Aya, took a sackcloth, put it over a rock, and from the beginning of the harvest until water fell down the corpses from heaven, she did not allow the birds of heaven to descend upon them during the day. So the mother of one of the sons who got hung, she's sitting there all day, making sure that the birds don't pick at the bodies, right? David was told what Ritzpah, daughter of Aya, was doing. David went and took the bones of Shaul and the bones of his son Yonatan from the inhabitants of Yavesh Gilad, and he brought it up from there, the bones of Shaul, bones of Yonatan. They gathered together the bones where they were hanged, and they buried the bones of Shaul and his son Yonatan in the land of Binyamin. They did all the king commanded, and God answered the prayers of the land after that. So the Givonim, they wanted to leave them hanging. And it was already going to be rotting, and the animals going to defile the bodies and disgrace it. So therefore, the Torah says you're not allowed to do that. He should have right away told them that night you shouldn't leave it. One night you shouldn't leave it like that. So why didn't he do that? So the answer is the Yerushalmi says, Gemara Sechei says it was necessary to leave the bodies hanging in order to sanctify the name of Hashem. When a passerby would see the bodies, would ask, who were this? And they would say, they were the princes, son of Shaul. They would ask, why were they hanged? And they're going to say, because they harmed the Givonim, who had never been accepted as full converts. This greatly sanctified Hashem, impressing to people how great the Jewish nation is. Look, if princes are punished like this for their sins, how much more so regular people? So therefore, this inspired 150,000 people to convert and join the Jewish nation.
So it's not transgressing the Torah by leaving the bodies there.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's I guess it was like a horat shah. It was like a very temporary ruling that in this case would be permitted. You have to be a Navi to do this, or you have to be what's it called, the king to decide something like this. But usually you're not allowed to. Sanhedrin the Bet Din is never allowed to leave people hanging overnight. And it wasn't him; it was them. It was the Goyim who did it. It was the Givonim who did it.
How's it giving the Jewish people to get punished because of the Goyim?
Yeah, so how can you give up a Jew to be killed? How can you give up a body? You know you're going to kill him. So what did we say before? We said before that he went to the city. He was looking for Sheva ben Bichri. Mm-hmm. So he said, if you don't give me the guy, the whole city is going to get killed, right? So the lady said, okay, we'll make a deal. We'll give you just Sheva ben Bichri. Right. And we said from there, the halacha is that if a guy deserves death anyways, so then you're allowed to give over him to the people. Let him kill one person instead of killing everybody. But if he's not chayav mitah, if he's not a sinner, then everybody has to die. You're not allowed to give one Jew for it to be killed. So the question over here. How can you give all the sons of Shaul to the Givonim to kill him? What, they were all Chayam Mitah? That doesn't make sense.
But the Givonim right? Still considered Jewish, right? Because they converted.
Who?
So, the Givonim.
The Givonim, not necessarily. But the question is more on David. How could David give them over? Yeah. Fine, okay, let's say Givonim, the Goyim, they do whatever they want. But David himself, how could David give over the sons of Shaul to kill? So we have to see the commentaries, and and maybe if they did, maybe they do have a sin. Maybe they do have a sin. That the reason why they were able to be given over. So it says over here in the commentaries that how did he decide? So we know that first of all, this famine was because of Urim and Thummim. The Urim and Thummim told us what's the reason for the famine. It's because of the sin of Shaul. Okay, so that sin of Shaul, what does that mean? That means the Givonim are upset. They suffered. So there was some sin that we have to do kapara for. We have to do teshuvah for. So what did he do? So he said, listen, we need to placate. We need to ask the Givonim what they want to calm down. Because they're upset, so Hashem's upset. So how we calm down? And we asked them, what do they say? They said they want the 7 sons of Shaul. So now David gathered all the great men and the sages of Israel, and he discussed with them, what do we do? So then, so they decided they want us to choose 7 sons of Shaul, the descendants of Shaul. So what are we gonna do? How are we gonna decide who's gonna go? Right? Who is the person who is gonna be able to give over? Right? So he says the descendants of Shaul were brought to the Aron, and were ordered to pass in front of the Aron. Those who became stuck in their place were chosen to be executed. David davened that Mephibosheth son of Yonatan would not be chosen. Those who the Aron took hold had incurred the death penalty for other sins and were punished for that at this time. So they were sinners. That's how they were able to be given over. And then he asked them, he didn't even take them by force, he asked them, are you guys willing to die for kapara and they'll remove the famine from Am Yisrael? They said yes. They agreed. And therefore, they're considered the status of martyrs. They're considered of dying on Kiddush Hashem. So therefore, he didn't really force them. The commentaries say that they were deserving anyways. And then they willingly agreed also. So now it's interesting that they were hanging for many months. And that was also a kapara and a Kiddush Hashem. And therefore, they agreed to do all this willingly, and it was done by the Givonim, so therefore it's not considered David's sin, rather it's considered that the Givonim did it. Okay, fine. But at the end of the day, they were not proper Gerim. And the biggest sign was that they bared a grudge. Baruch Adonai Olam.